Folks, welcome to an all new episode of So Bad It's Good. This is your pal Ryan, and this is your Monday episode. It has been a long week since I have talked to you. We started a new year, it's 2025. How the heck is everybody doing? I just watched the Golden Globe Awards. We're going to talk about it for a second, and then we're going to get to Sophie Ross with the Pop Culture Roundup. Just a normal, everyday, average Monday. I'm so sorry that I sound like I am like in a submersible. I have two gigantic stents in each one of my nostrils, so it's making my voice sound like I'm underwater or that I've had a really long night of partying with the men of Vanderpump Rules. Uh, Listen, it's only been a week, but it feels like a year. I knew it would feel that way. Like I usually podcast every day, multiple times a day. So you take that away from somebody, and you really feel like you're kicking drugs. And I was on a lot of drugs after the surgery. So that's where I've been this last week. I talked about it plenty on the show. But last Monday I went in to get my sinus surgery for my sinusitis, or however you say that. And it was wild because I woke up to the news that Paige DeSorbo and Craig Conover broke up. And I was really bummed because I had just talked on that Monday's episode that they would get engaged this year. So I was already ending the year being completely wrong about something. So that was infuriating. Um, but I did the surgery. I got there. The surgeon was running like 4 hours behind. So that's like a really bad place to be when you're at a surgery center and you just have to sit there. And I didn't have my phone charger, so my phone was dying. It was like a whole scene. There was a couple things that I remember when they put me under. We were in the surgical room, and they were listening to EDM, electronic dance music. And I literally, I remember one of the last things I said. I was like, do you guys listen to EDM while you do this? And they're like, we listen to everything. And I was like, wild. So I guess they were listening to EDM while they worked on my sinuses. The surgeon, Dr. Guillaume, said that this was way worse than the CT scan had showed. So it was very good that I did this. They roto rootered all of my sinuses. I still don't know if it worked or not because I have these two stents in my nose, so I can't really breathe through my nose still. But I will tell you, the week has been really difficult. Even with the pain medication, they told me it was going to be 3 or 4 really bad days. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Like I kind of was like, oh, and by the way, you know me, I don't think I'm tough. I'm a pussy. So it's not that. I just thought like, it's fine. But it was bad, man. It was bad. It's still not great, but it's way better than it was. I think I had a turning point like a day and a half ago where I was like, okay, I can see. Like there was a couple days ago where I told Rebecca, I was like, I don't know if this was worth it because it was really hard to think, and it was even hard to look at my phone because I started getting like I had these really insane headaches, but then I would have just from like glare. So like I was like, oh fuck, if I can't watch TV, I'm out. Like game over. What is life all about if I can't watch TV or look at my phone? I know that's a really sad yet funny thing to say. But it's true, and I got really scared for a second because I was like, I am getting gnarlier headaches just looking at the glow of a TV or my phone. But yeah, really bad headaches. Everything that they said would happen. A lot of weird things coming out of a lot of different weird areas. And that is still, I don't know. Anyways, Tuesday afternoon, I get my stents out, and then we'll be able to tell from there. But listen, I loved you guys. I say this all the I love doing this. I love this so much. It might just be a show to you. It might just be something you listen to, or maybe it's something that you really look forward to. For me, it's everything. And I have no problem saying that. I have no problem saying that. So I really, really missed it. I knew I would. And I will tell you that today's episode with Sophie, I don't make tons of sense. You can tell that I'm struggling. So I want you to keep that in mind. If this is your first time listening, I swear it'll get better in a week, maybe two. But I'm trying, I'm doing my best. And I'm not doing it because I have to. I'm doing it because I want to. Rebecca, Sandra, Maritza, my parents, or my dad, my sister, everybody's like, oh, slow down. You don't have to work. You don't have to work. You guys got to understand, I'm lazy. Trust me, I'm lazy. But I love doing this. This isn't work. This is so much fun to me. And, I want to thank everybody that gave me such nice words on the 3-part series we did about Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. I also want to acknowledge, like I do in the Pop Culture Roundup, that there will be a 4th part. I just want to make sure that my brain is a little more clear because I got to go over more court documents. And I want to try to tell the story as not as honestly, but I just want to tell the story in a very forthright way and not try to put a lot of spin on it. And I really want to finish that story. You guys might be tired of hearing about it, but I want to actually kind of complete it. So expect that at some point, maybe this weekend, this upcoming weekend. We got a lot of Bravo shows coming back on air. I'm going to try to get through this week. And like I said, I'm going to do it until I can't do it. And I want to make sure if I'm having fun. I had a blast talking with Sophie today. So even if it doesn't make a lot of sense, just know my heart was very happy. How are you guys? How has your 2025 been? We do have one serious moment in the Pop Culture Roundup that I want to acknowledge. That sometimes the beginning of a new year can be really anxiety ridden for some people. And sometimes it's not filled with joy, a new year for some people. A lot of people it is, but some people it isn't. That's okay too. You know, a year is what you make out of it day after day, week after week, month after month. The people that you are in communication with, the people that you reach out to, the people that reach out to you, the things that you watch, the things that you listen to, the things that move your heart and your soul, you know, the good food you eat, you know, the good drink you drink. Oh my God, I'm so tired of drinking water. Oh, I drank so much water this week. I'm supposed to stay hydrated. I don't know, but a year, it's hard. And we've been through tough years together, right? God, we've done COVID together. We've done losing my mom together. We've done a lot of stuff. And this year, it's going to present challenges. It's already presenting one for me now, but it's not something that we can't get through. And in the meantime, when I was able to watch TV or listen to something this past week, it really, you know, like there's this inner thing that it does where it heals you little by little, or it makes you smile, or it makes you think, or it gives you a memory, or it reminds you of something. You got to go to your phone and make a note of it because I want to tell you guys. And that's the power of the things that we talk about. You know, and there is something just innocuous and stupid laughter because that's what this is too. It's just silly laughter. Like I was just watching Sister Wives after I watched the Golden Globes, and I got to tell you, compared to Sister Wives, the Golden Globes sucked. Sister Wives, Cody Brown gave the performance of a lifetime in tonight's episode of Sister Wives. He was all like, you know, Robin, will you accept me as your only husband, even if we don't do plural marriage? Robin, like it was so dramatic. It's like Jax Taylor wishes he had the range of Cody Taylor from TLC's Sister Wives. I see what you're doing, Cody, and I love it. Great performance. It's so sad that the Golden Globes can't actually nominate reality television performances. Cody could potentially win it every fucking year. But we're going to talk about the Golden Globes in a second as well. Then get to Sophie. I did want to read one thing, and it's just what I was talking about the year. My dad sent this to the family today. And he was scrolling around on Facebook, which is pretty dangerous if you're over the age of 65. You know, there's a lot of stuff on there where you're like, be careful with what you're interacting with, Dad. But, you know, you got to let them learn. They're young. He found this poem. It's a poem that everyone should read by Margaret Mead. She wrote, "To the living, I am gone. To the sorrowful, I will never return. To the angry, I was cheated. But to the happy, I am at peace. And to the faithful, I have never left. I cannot speak, but I can listen. I cannot be seen, but I can be heard. So as you stand upon a shore gazing at a beautiful sea, as you look upon a flower and admire its simplicity, remember me. Remember me in your heart, your thoughts and your memories of the times we loved, the times we cried, the times we fought, the times we laughed. For if you always think of me, I will never have gone." Margaret Mead. And I thought that was beautiful. And obviously, I think my dad meant that about my mom. I hope. Who knows? But I'm taking it to mean he meant it about my mom, Becky, and we celebrate Becky every year on this show, every day on this show. But I also wanted to celebrate the ones that you might have lost this past year. And I know this is supposed to be a fun show, but, you know, remembering people that we love can be fun, and it can be a unifying force. I know, guys, you're like, this guy is on a lot of drugs. Yeah, I am. So what? But I just wanted to read that. I thought you guys, that might move you in some way like it moved me for my dad to text me something that he read on Facebook. It could have been way worse. He could have been like, somebody's trying to sell me guns on Facebook. Should I buy one? Okay, folks, should we talk a little bit about Oh wait, no, sorry. One thing, I will be on Jeff Lewis Live on Tuesday with the Sutton Strack, you guys. Sutton, mother effing Strack, Sarah Colonna, Doug Buden. That's Tuesday. I'm looking forward to that. If you know me, you know I'm very excited to be on with Sutton. That's a dream come true of mine. And while I was gone, I guess there was some drama in the Jeff Lewis universe. Hello, chumps, if there's any chumps listening. I got so many. I didn't get to open up. I don't open up a lot of DMs anymore. It makes me nervous. But a lot of what I would, people would be like something about a virus. Are you the virus? Who's the virus? And wanting me to comment on everything that went down with Justin and stuff like that. It is not my place to comment on that at this time. And I just hope, listen, you guys know me. I want everybody to get along. I'm just one of those people. I'm kind of annoyed that way. Like I said earlier, I'm a pussy. I always want to try to bring people together. I've made enough mistakes in my own life, and I try to, well, I haven't learned from them really, but I've tried to learn from them. And I want everybody to get along. I want peace between everybody. And what I always say about the Jeff Lewis thing, it's been like one of the best things that's happened to me this past year. I love going in every time I get a chance to go in. I'm not a comedian. I'm not like, so I just feel lucky to be there. I'm like a kid in a candy store. I'm so appreciative of the experience. I'll try to find out more stuff, but I just, those are just some thoughts because people keep asking me about it. I've been in contact with Justin. I love him and Evan. I also really like Jade Catapretta. I don't have a lot of issues with people. That's the thing. It's like been a really supportive environment. I know some people find that hard to believe, but it's been really, really nice for me. So I know that might not be something that you want to hear because I know people thrive on drama. And yeah, that's what I have to say about that. And what else? There was something else. This is what. Oh yeah. Oh my God, you guys. The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. Do you remember that last year? Discovery ID. It was last January about the girl that they thought was like lying about her age. It was like that horror movie Orphan. They thought it was like a little bit not based on that, but it was a similar story where this adopted, I think, Ukrainian girl that said like they said she was a child but she was actually a teenage girl. They did this like huge docu-series on Discovery ID and it went to Max. And the final four episodes, there's a new season of it that comes out tonight, Monday night and Tuesday night. I watched all four episodes. It's like The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, the final chapter. This story gets way crazier. So put that on your DVRs or Max or Discovery ID. I was I was slack-jawed. I was like, oh wow, this story gets crazier. Do you guys remember this? We had Beth Karas on, who's this great lawyer and person that works on all these shows. She was on a year ago, and I just can't believe the story got even crazier. But I wanted to remind you guys that that actually premieres tonight. Okay, so now let's get to a quick recap of the Golden Globes. Oh, okay, so the Golden Globes were tonight on CBS, and I was really, I like award shows. You know, they were so special to me as a kid. I've told you guys this before. I used to love award shows. I used to practice with my toothbrush, like during when like Billy Crystal would host the Oscars, and I would practice in the mirror afterwards. And I dreamt of being a host on one of these award shows. But also, I just love and still love movies and TV so much. The Golden Globes, if you look into the history of the Globes, it has a very interesting history. You know, these are foreign press, and there's not many people in the actual Golden Globes. They actually raised the amount of people that vote on these awards over the last couple of years. But at one point, there was like only 85 foreign critics that were voting on these things. And there used to be like this common, I don't think it was a misconception, but there was like this kind of lore out there that you could buy your way into a Golden Globe. Like Harvey Weinstein, shout out Harvey, doing great in Rikers. he would wine and dine these foreign critics. He would really roll out the red carpet for them, and that would be to like buy nominations or to buy awards. And he did a similar thing with the Oscars, but the Oscars has such a larger voting pool. So the Golden Globes, they air every year, and last year the host was Joe Coy, the stand-up comedian, who I was not that familiar with. Even though I know he has a huge fan base, and he really did not nail it. He did a very poor job. Uh, Obviously, this dude excels as a stand-up. He's huge. I actually saw him. I went to see Boys to Men actually at the Hollywood Bowl this past summer, and he introduced them, and he was way funnier introducing Boys to Men than he was at the Golden Globes. It just wasn't his room. But I will say, Nikki Glazer killed it. She crushed it. For me personally, it's everything I wanted in a host. You could tell she loved movies and TV. You could tell she was up on pop culture. She's obviously killed it with the roast, but it wasn't roast heavy. But it roasted Hollywood a fair degree. I thought it did everything it needed to do. You could tell she wanted to be there. You could tell she was appreciative of the platform, and she is, I think, at the top of her game. I mean, I would not be surprised if they announce her as the host of next year's Golden Globes within the next month. Like, that's a locked in gig. It's hers if she wants it. I think she killed it. And so I was so happy, and I just laughed. I got really excited. There was at one point, she made a joke about Martin Short, saying, oh, well, Martin Short's here because, like, he'll show up to anything. I forgot the specific joke. My mind's not working that well. But Steve Martin laughed. And for me, that moment was like, oh, God. I bet she watches that back and looks at Steve Martin laughing at her joke. And I bet that just means the world to her because I know she geeks out about pop culture like we do. So those moments, like, I think everybody was rooting for her. That's just for us plugged in people. I am curious how it plays to not just middle America, because middle America, you guys are all pop culture lovers too. I'm from Kansas. But I do wonder, it's such a different ball game than it used to be 20 years ago. When the Golden Globes, you had your networks, you had cable, of course, and you had your big blockbusters, but you didn't have streaming the way you do now. So the job of a host is to walk people through all of these things that they don't even know exist. You have Netflix, you have Peacock, you have Hulu, you have Paramount Plus. Even I wish Paramount Plus would get their act together. You have all of these different streaming services on top of studio movies, on top of it's just so much, right? Do you guys know Amelia Perez, who won so many Golden Globes tonight? Do you know that's a movie that's out there on Netflix right now? You can watch it right now. Conclave is on Peacock right now. Did you guys even know that? I don't mean like you're so dumb, but I mean it's hard. Everything's just so spread out. The word is not out there, but most of these films you could actually get out there and see. It's just that sometimes we don't know where to look because we're looking everywhere. We're looking all over. There is so much demand for our focus and our attention. So that's the job of these shows then, of these hosts. They have to sell these movies that sometimes people haven't heard of. And Netflix has such a promotional budget, they're always going to win from here on out because their promotional budget, I mean, first off, they back quality projects for the most part, but also they have such a huge P&A printed advertising budget where they can spend a lot of money to make sure what and who they are. So it is still interesting, even with all that, though. I think like Amelia Perez, people still don't really know what that movie is. I still have not seen Amelia Perez, but I got to tell you, after tonight, I will be watching Amelia Perez. So let's go through. There's a lot of random thoughts I just wrote down in my drug-induced haze. It was great to see Selena Gomez with her fiance, Betty Blanco. And Betty Blanco was seated right next to Ted Sarandos. And Ted Sarandos is the president of Netflix. So I just thought, how wild. That's what, if you're a fan of TV and film and pop culture, it's almost the projects become secondary sometimes in an award setting. You're looking for the moments in between the awards where everybody is interacting. You're like, oh, I saw this star talking to this star. This star didn't seem happy with this star. Those are the things that are kind of exciting. And so that was kind of exciting to me. Like, I was like, oh, I wonder what Betty Blanco and Ted Sarandos are talking about, right? Or I wonder why Ariana Grande didn't bring Ethan Slater. her co-star from Wicked and her lover. Like, where was Ethan Slater? Is he not allowed to come to these things because their relationship started under like kind of a weird setting? I was wondering where Ethan Slater was. Richard Gadd, he won for Baby Reindeer. He also created Baby Reindeer. I thought he gave a beautiful speech. And also, he actually gave a speech that included like talking to the streamers directly, saying, hey, when you're crunching all these numbers, remember to leave a little room for the weird stories, for the weird people, for us outsiders. Like, it can be your next Baby Reindeer. Leave a little room for that. Leave a little room. Because Hollywood, these shows, it's all based on our dreams, right? It's all based on these dreams that we had to tell stories, that we wanted to be something bigger than ourselves. And I think that's what Hollywood at its best can do. And it's all, about representation and seeing yourself on screen and just really making your imagination just explode. For the most part, though, I will say I thought the Golden Globes were kind of boring. I was like, I love Nikki Glazer's thing, and that was done in like 13 minutes in. And I was like, oh, fuck, we got to strap in. It's like, I think it ended up being 3 hours and 10 minutes. And there was just a lot of shit, like just walking to the stage. Like, and then they did this thing where they were putting like fun facts on the screen. That was, I think, a new thing. They're like, Glenn Close. Do I need to know Glenn Close loves dogs? Like, I love dogs too, but like, yeah, maybe you're like, well, yeah, why'd you waste your time telling me? But it was like, do you know Glenn Close loves dogs? I'm like, no. What am I going to do with that information? Glenn Close, but this was a crazy one. I took a photo of this. It was about Richard Gadd, who wrote Baby Reindeer, was the star of it. And they won for limited series, anthology series made for TV movie. The fact on the screen was every email that appears in the Netflix series is a message that Gadd received in real life. Yeah, he had a fucking stalker that sent him like 40,000 creepy emails. Like, that's what the show is about. But like, it's this celebratory moment. It's like, did you know that he got 40,000 super weird emails? Like, it was just little things like that where you're like, I know they're trying something new, but I don't know if it necessarily worked. And also the presenters. The angle they chose to do, like it felt like Vin Diesel was literally sitting on my lap. It was like way too close. It's like, I don't know why. I get that you're trying to do something different than just the proscenium stage where we're just looking like straight on at two presenters, but it's okay. There are things that work because they work. We don't need to reinvent certain wheels. Like, they were doing such extreme close-ups that I was becoming uncomfortable. I was like, can they see me? Like, I feel like I don't know why. It was Vin Diesel. Vin Diesel, also, is Vin Diesel supposed to be like a legend now? Like, Vin Diesel, like all this, like, I felt like he took like way too long speaking. He was like, I gotta say something about. And then did you see that moment between him and The Rock? He was like, what's up? Because him and The Rock have bad blood because they were in the Fast and Furious thing, and The Rock hates Vin Diesel and like refused to be a part of the Fast and Furious franchise anymore. And remember, like Vin Diesel was like, you can't leave the Fast family. Dwayne, you belong to the Fast family, which I think The Rock actually is coming back to the Fast and Furious franchise now. But it was like this big feud. But I think it got reignited tonight on stage because Vin was like, what's up? What's up, Rock? And Rock was like, ugh. It was creepy, man. It was weird. But I was like, is Vin Diesel like Anthony Hopkins all of a sudden? Like, are we supposed to revere Vin Diesel? No offense to like all the Vin Diesel lovers out there. I just thought it was super weird. Did anybody else? It's just me? Okay. Anyways, that was a weird moment. Okay. So me and Sophie talk about this because we were talking during. So we were talking right before the show started, and we were talking, is Kylie Jenner going to walk the red carpet with Timothée Chalamet? And the answer was no, she did not. Timothy was wearing this little skinny, like, Maritza thought it looked like a necktie, but it was just like a skinny scarf. They didn't walk the red carpet together, but they sat next to each other the entire show. And I have to tell you, that was one of my favorite parts of my viewing experience because I just sat there and tried to watch Kylie Jenner. Like, I I couldn't imagine, like, does she get nervous for these things? Does it make her feel inferior? Is she bored? Is she tired of talking about Bob Dylan? Like, I just wanted to know, like, is Timothy Chalamet embarrassed by her? Like, I just want to know. There are so many thoughts that go through my mind when thinking about their relationship. And that's part of loving pop culture, is thinking stupid thoughts like that. I love that Bob Dylan's story that Timothy Chalamet is trying to tell is now entangled in, like, Kylie Jenner. The Kardashians have now reached Bob Dylan. And just there's something that tickles me for some reason so much about that. I still have not been able to see A Complete Unknown. If anybody has a bootleg copy, I wouldn't mind if you sent it to me. LOL, JK. But seriously, so bad it's good with Ryan Bailey at gmail.com. But I am happy to pay for it in the theater as well. I just can't go there yet because of all of the no stuff. But he lost. He lost, you guys. Spoiler alert. I thought he would. And part of the reason why I wanted him to win, even though I love this kid and I love Bob Dylan, I wanted him to win just to see if he was going to thank Kylie and if they were going to kiss. Like, I wanted to see that. Like, to me, that's ratings gold. And instead, we gave it to Adrian Brody again. Adrian Brody, he won the Oscar for The Pianist in 2002. And a beautiful performance. He won again for The Brutalist tonight. It's a 3.5-hour film produced by A24. It's supposed to be a really, really intense film. Adrian Brody gave a beautiful speech, but another interesting Hollywood fact that you guys might not be aware of is Adrian Brody, his girlfriend that he has been with now for a couple of years, I believe, is her name is Georgina Chapman. They've been together since 2022. Now, if Georgina Chapman, her name sounds familiar, it should. She is a designer. Maybe you know her clothing work, but she's also known for being the previous wife of Harvey Weinstein. Yeah, when all this shit went down, they were married. They have kids together. And after he went to jail, Adrian Brody and Georgina Chapman got together, but he thanked her in his speech. And she said, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you. And said she's, her resilience inspires him. And he gave a really impassioned speech. This is what's interesting, though, is that these awards, they're like the precursor, like it's like the kickoff to award season, right? Because you got like the Critics' Choice, the SAG Awards, the actual Oscars, the Blockbuster Movie Award. I wish the Blockbuster Movie Award still existed. I wish Blockbuster still existed. But, so it's this precursor. This week is when ballots are due for the Oscar voting. So you have these like last minute strategic things happening. Like, dude, Adrian Brody, all of a sudden, he's now going to be a front runner. Like Timothy Chalamet was one of the front runners. Is Timothy Chalamet, does he get kicked to the curb? But at the same time, the Golden Globes are only voted by this limited pool of people. So it's all PR. It's what we were talking about last week about the, It Ends With Us, It Ends With Us, the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni drama. Like, it's all PR. It's all this game. And it's all based on talent and performances, but at the same time, it's PR. What we can get in front of you, how we can make you feel, what story are we trying to tell? And tonight, Demi Moore won for Best Actress in a Motion Picture for The Substance. I thought it was going to go to Cynthia Erivo from Wicked. Now, Demi Moore went up there and she gave a kick-ass speech, you guys. She made herself part of the game. Like, I went from thinking, oh, that's cool, she was nominated, and I really loved her performance. I watched The Substance, I loved her performance, but I didn't think she was going to win. But now, after her speech, I'm like, oh, shit, she's going to get nominated, and now she might win Best Actor. This is her speech. She says, 30 years ago, I had a producer tell me I was a popcorn actress, and at that time, I made that mean that I wasn't allowed to have this, that I could do movies that were successful and made a lot of money, but that I wouldn't be acknowledged. And I bought in and I believed that. A few years ago, I thought that this was it. And maybe I've done what I was supposed to do. And then I had this magical, bold, courageous, out of the box, absolutely bonkers script come across my desk called The Substance. And the universe told me, you're not done. In those moments when we don't think we are smart enough, or pretty enough, or skinny enough, or successful enough, or basically just not enough, I had a woman say to me, just know you will never be enough, but you can know the measure of your work if you just put down the measuring stick. I treat this as a marker that I do belong. It's a beautiful speech, and it tells a story. It tells a story that of an actor that has been working in this industry for over 40 years. Demi Moore. She's been with us forever. Been in so many hits, so many blockbusters. She had the Bruce Willis relationship, the Ashton Kutcher relationship. She is such a Hollywood icon, right? But she's also a damn good actor, and she's never won an acting award. So now that speech, she's back in the game. It's also an amazing performance, but it gives us a story to root for. It reminds me of that year of Good Will Hunting when Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, Miramax, Harvey Weinstein, put all this money in letting us know these two kids from Boston, their story, up and comers, hungry. They wrote this kick ass script. They sold us the Matt and Ben story. So now we are being sold this story that is true, but it's also a story that we want. It's a story that inspires us. A story of like, yeah, good for you, Demi Moore. Hell yeah. I just crack up about thinking like making all the Academy voters watch The Substance because it's body horror. I loved it, but it's, obviously it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, but it's a good story. It sells. So all of a sudden I'm like, shit, sorry, Cynthia Erivo, you might be taking one on the chin to Demi Moore. Okay, let's see. Other things. Oh, this was just a note I made. Salma Hayek presented, looking beautiful, but Edward Norton was nominated for the Bob Dylan movie. Did not win, but it reminded me that Edward Norton and Salma Hayek dated for a long time. And then it also reminded me that Edward Norton and Courtney Love used to date, Kurt Cobain's ex-wife. Edward Norton, if you go by, he's one of my favorite actors, but he had a really interesting dating history like 20 plus years ago. It's something to look into. There's like great photos of him and Courtney Love. I have them saved on my phone. Like that's the shit I love. But he also dated Salma Hayek for a really long time. And I was just up there going like, God, this room, it's like high school. It's like all these people that have like had flirties with each other over the decades, but also like produced some really great art. Another thing, a lot of people won awards and said, oh my God, I didn't prepare any speeches. Well, maybe start preparing. It was like some of the speeches sucked. They were boring. I know that's an asshole thing for me to say, but man, put some work into it. Act like you are going to win. I know that's cocky, but like, dude, I sat through a couple speeches and I was like, this is redonkulous. Please, please. Also, there is a rumor that Zendaya is engaged to her actor boyfriend Tom Holland because people spotted her with a wedding ring, an engagement ring on tonight. So who knows if that is true. Jeremy Strong was nominated. Remember him from Succession? He dressed like he dressed like he was like LL Cool J mixed with Willy Wonka. It was like a lime green Kango hat, and it was super weird. But listen, man, whatever makes you happy. Fashion is fashion. I thought the presenter bits were either hit or miss. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's a precursor to the Oscars. It made me really want to see Amelia Grace. That won tons of awards. The Brutalist, it's a hard sell, but I want to see it. Best Motion Picture Animated went to Flow. I saw Inside Out 2 while I was sick this week. I thought it was cute. I wanted to like it more, but it was good. It was good. Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. That's a newer award that was created just to point at things that made a lot of money and go, hey, we're not just artsy awards. We promote commerce. And that went to Wicked. So Wicked won on that one. So congrats to Wicked. Best Motion Picture Non-English Language was Amelia Perez. Best performance by a female actor in a motion picture was Fernanda Torres. I'm Still Here. I have not seen that. Best performance, Adrian Brody for a male. Best performance by a female actor, musical or comedy, was Demi Moore, like I said. Best performance by a male actor in a motion picture, musical or comedy, was Sebastian Stan for A Different Man. Sebastian Stan had a great year. He did that and The Apprentice, where he played a young Donald Trump. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role went to Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. Best performance by a male actor in a supporting role went to Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain. He gave a very funny speech. It's just a funny dude. Also somebody that's been working since Home Alone, man. As a kid that you went to bed because you gave him too much coke. Best director went to Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. Best screenplay went to Conclave. Conclave is streaming now on Peacock. I watched it this past week. I really enjoyed it. Best original score went to Challengers, which is it's a duo, but one of the guys in the duo that did that is Trent Reznor, the head of Nine Inch Nails. They do amazing music, Social Network, all that stuff. Best television series drama went to Shogun. Best television series musical or comedy went to Hacks. Ah, man, I was hoping this would go to Nobody Wants This. I really love Nobody Wants This on Netflix, but it went to Hacks, which is a great, amazing show. Uh, Best performance by a female actor in a television series drama went to Anna Sawai for Shogun. Best performance by a male actor in a television series went to Hiroyuki Sanada for Shogun. Best performance by a female actor in a television series, musical, or comedy went to Gene Smart for Hacks. Best performance by a male actor in a television series, musical, or comedy went to Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. One of the I know I'm even tired of saying the joke about how The Bear is not a comedy, but Jeremy Allen White wasn't even there. I think he's still shooting the Bruce Springsteen movie, but he wasn't even there. I wanted Martin Short to get that just because Martin Short makes me laugh so much, but that's probably not the right way to give out awards. Best performance by a female actor in a limited series anthology, Jodie Foster for True Detective Night Country. Fun fact, her wife, Alexandra Hedison, was my first headshot photographer in Los Angeles. Fun fact. Best performance by a male actor in a limited series, Colin Farrell for The Penguin. I love The Penguin so much. Best performance by a female actor in a supporting role, Jessica Gunning for Baby Reindeer. Best performance by a male actor, supporting role, Tadanobu Asano for Shogun. Best performance in a stand-up comedy on television, Ali Wong. Ali Wong, I was hoping when she dates Bill Hader, who I love, but they were not together. So that was sad for me, but she's brilliant. So I'm glad she won. Nikki Glazer killed it, like I said. I guess the big thing to look out for is Kylie Jenner giving Timothy Chalamet the Kardashian curse. I know that sounds horrible me saying that. I know. I love you, Kylie. I love you, Timothy. I just hope it's going to be a long award season. Will Kylie be at the Oscars? I'm starting a campaign, get Kylie to the Oscars. Let's get her there. Let's get her to walk that red carpet. But I'm worried for Timothy. I want to bring this home for him. Anyways, folks, that is my jumbled intro, and now is a jumbled pop culture roundup with Sophie Ross. We'll have new shows this week, so keep coming back. Subscribe to the show, rate it 5 stars, all of that good stuff. Shout out to my Patreon baddies. I hope you enjoyed your holiday card. We'll be doing a new Patreon episode this week as well. I'm just moving a little slower, so forgive me, but I'm so happy to be back, sort of, and I can't wait to get these stints out of my nose so it doesn't sound like I'm underwater. Okay, have a great Monday, you guys. I appreciate all of your well wishes. Bye.